a couple of more people to join.
ठीक.
Okay, and I've given the recording rights to most of the candidates here. Okay, guys, any question from the last class about the remote access, all three kind of VPNs? Any question? Anybody has tried something is not working or something? Okay, today we are going to do site-to-site VPN, and for that I have to first remove this particular gateway because I have to reset the gateways. The license has expired in the system. Okay, secondary IP is working, so we can go ahead and do our lab stuff. Okay, guys, so let's start with the VPN today. It is going to be site-to-site VPN, and I'll give you a brief idea about what it is. So last class we saw the remote access VPN, which was basically like you have your remote access gateway here, checkpoint gateway, and anybody from the internet, the user could be anywhere in any location, it could be any part of the world. So let's say that you have users in all over the world. You have in India, probably Canada, US, and they will be able to connect back to the office, right? Using that public IP, they will be all, and a username, password, they can access all the resources that you have behind it, provided you put the right ACL and you block certain access, create right username and passwords, and give them the right pool. You should be able to access them from anywhere on the internet. But what if you have two offices or many offices and you want to connect them securely over internet so that one office can actually go to the the other office through internet? Okay, so we use IPSEC VPN, but there are a lot of different type of VPNs also involved, and you can utilize them. Couple of VPNs are basically service provider based. Some VPNs are based on the pure internet. So the service provider based VPNs, one example would be MPLS or VPLS. And if you do not have money to pay for the premium services like these, you can go for IPSEC VPN, which means you just require 2 internet connections. Any type of internet connection, even the dial-ups kind of things or dynamic IP kind of things will be okay till the time you have some kind of mapping at least on one side, so it can basically work. So this is called site-to-site VPN. In Cisco world, this is called site-to-site VPN. Now, checkpoint allows you that you can have one side checkpoint. The other side could be Cisco, Juniper, AWS. I mean, anybody, any standard based IPsec gateway. So that would be fine. So checkpoint does have interoperability between checkpoint and any of the vendors. So this vendor can be anything, or this vendor can be anything. One side you have checkpoint. So today I'll demonstrate checkpoint to checkpoint, and I will also show you how to do the basic configuration. I can show you because I don't have third-party gateway. How to, if you have a third-party gateway, how to do that basically. Okay. Two kind of VPNs are supported in site-to-site: mesh VPN and star VPN basically. So let me check again here. I think it should be in the VPN communities. My internet, we have okay. Yeah, so two kind of VPNs are basically there. We have mesh VPN or star VPN. So how does the star VPN look like? Star VPN, and what is the difference between both? We'll look at. So mesh VPN is basically when you have a site-to-site kind of thing. Star VPN is more you can have a central gateway and the other sites basically. So we can call it hub and spoke. That will be better word. Hub and spoke. Sorry, spoke. Hub and spoke, and there we can call gateway to gateway or site to site. Generally, people use the word gateway to gateway or site to site. What is the difference? Okay, the difference here is that you can have this as pure IPsec based VPN. So you can have IPsec based VPN, and here you can combine routing plus IPsec. So dynamic routing protocols will be supported. Remember that IPsec VPNs by default inherently do not support dynamic routing protocols. You have to use static routes. Okay, but what if you want to, you have a large network and you want to use, so I'll give you one example. Let's say you have 2 sites or multiple sites and you want to access private subnet of this company to private subnet of this company. So in that case, you can have mesh VPN basically. Okay, but what if you want to use routing protocol? You have some dynamic routing going on. There is a router here and those routes are changing dynamically. Subnets are being added, new subnets being added on a daily basis, and you want to be aware of those, right? But you do not want to use your efforts, or basically you don't want to put that kind of efforts to find out based on the daily changes. So what you can do is you can go with the mesh VPN, which will basically more be routing based VPN. Okay, so the example, sorry, which is going to be the site to site static route based VPN. So, and if you have, let's say, a lot of sites and you want to connect the head office, head hub and spoke kind of thing, which looks like something like this. You have a central gateway and you have all other participating gateways. So in that case, you can have hub and spoke to spoke through hub. A lot of you might be aware of Cisco has similar thing called DMVPN. Okay, so if you want to apply that, that is also possible. You can do it here. Mesh VPN is easy. You don't have to configure IPSEC VTI and the tunnel interfaces for routing and everything. You can straight away do all the configuration based on this particular thing. So I'm going to build our topology for today to do a practical of site to site. I will have 2 checkpoints. I've just installed. The license is expired. They will be connecting through the internet connection, and I'll have to see what is the subnet I'm going to use, because probably I'll use 172.16. 2.200 is there, and I have 2 gateways, 172.16, 2.202 is there. Those are the outside IPs, and management IP for both is going to be something else, 10 port subnet, and in the private subnet I'm going to get 10.110/24. Here the private subnet is going to be 10.1.2.0. 2.0/24. So private subnet of, and let's say this is maybe location Delhi and this is the location Bangalore. So a company has 2 offices and you want to have a VPN, and let's call these as public IPs, because we are simulating internet. We don't have 2 different gateways sitting in 2 different physical locations. So we are going to simulate the internet, right? So these people should be able to go to the Delhi office and be able to access this private subnet, this particular subnet from this particular subnet. That is the end goal of it. Using IPSEC VPN, and all the traffic that's going to pass between these 2 is going to be all encrypted traffic, right? The protocol set we are going to use is IPSEC, which is actually a suite of protocol. IPSEC itself is not a protocol. It has a suite of protocols. It has 2 phases, phase 1 and phase 2. In phase 1, what happens is you have negotiation only happen. Okay, negotiation with the pre-shared key. The timeout values, which is always constant. Encryption and authentication, or sorry, hashing. Authentication is there in this already pre-shared. Diffie-Hellman to encrypt and decrypt or to create public key is optional. So you can use, there are different methods of doing that, and there are different modes of it. That is not basically part of the scope of this program to discuss the aggressive mode and the main mode basically. Okay, and how many packets are exchanged and all those. In phase 2, the real data transfer happens. Data transfer, or let me call it secure data transfer. Secure data transfer happens in phase number 2. So 2 phases are there in site to site VPN. Phase 1, which is called IKE phase, and this phase 2 is called IPSEC phase 2 or IPSEC phase people call it. So IKE, the set of negotiation protocols, IKE and IPSEC, same set of protocols are being used for the encryption and decryption, but the phase 1 there is no data transfer. It's just a matching of both sides and a conversation to set up that do you have same pre-shared key, do you have same timeout value, do you have same encryption, and do you have same hashing. If all those are agreed in a secure way, phase 2 will happen. If the policies, any of these parameter doesn't match, phase 1 doesn't happen. That means phase 2 will never happen. If the phase 1 doesn't happen, the phase 2 doesn't happen.
Sir,
Yes.
what do you mean by IKE? IKE.
IK is basically a set of protocol. It's the set of ISACM protocol basically. Is the protocol set which is basically used for this is called IKE. Phase 1 is called IKE phase. It's a name. And phase 2 generally we call it IKE phase 2, but a lot of people call it IPSEC phase because that's where the real encryption and decryption happens. So data encryption, decryption happens through this. And that's what causes the data to become secure. Okay, so this is basically the ISACM set of protocols which are part of IPSEC set of protocols. So ISACM is part of IPSEC. Right, so we have these two site to site. We are going to add two gateways to see how do we do a site to site VPN between both. Okay, first gateway, CP1. It's an open platform. 172.16.200. Let's put CP11. So gateway number 1 is added. Now I'm going to start add gateway 2, CP12, I'll name it. Go to 02. Okay, this is also working fine. So two gateways being added, and I have to make few changes to them, and probably we will have to renegotiate their keys again because as per my topology, these IPs which are given are management right now, but our topology says these are outside IPs. Okay, so we either have to find out another way of doing it. Probably let me try if we can avoid these issues. I think we can avoid it. I'm going to put it something like 10.4.12.200, and this is 10.4.12.202. Okay, and those I'm going to keep is that management IPs are correct, so we don't worry about it. So we'll go to gateways and set up their interfaces because through Gaia only we can set up the interfaces. Okay, my second interface is outside 10.4.12.202. Sorry, 200. This is going to be 200. This is gateway number 1. 200. Let's check the management IP, and the gateway is almost similar. So that's okay. The third IP here is going to be inside IP, and this is going to be 10.1.1.200.255.255.255.0. So gateway number 1 is done. Gateway number 2, the second IP, it's outside. So 10.4.12.202. And I'll go to this one also, and we'll say this is inside. So 10.1.2.202.255.255.255.250. Perfect. So this is our network now. Let me see what message has come. Hi there. Yes, I'll just check and give you the recording information. Okay, done. So my gateways are set up the way I wanted, and I'll just go again, double click and fetch the topology. Try to gain the topology. Topology is imported. Okay. We'll go to the second one. Try to import the topology. Okay, both topologies are there, and let's see. We create a security policy for them, or we can create 2 security policies for them. That's absolutely fine. Right? If I have 1 security policy, that's also fine. But generally, it's a good idea to have 2 security policies for 2 gateways. Okay, so I'm going to create a new policy. New policy. Save it. Okay. There shouldn't be any space. So 2 policies, new policy and standard policy. Standard will be for first gateway, CP11, and the other policy will be. So this is fine, and this is also, I'm going to put it as accept and log. This also as accept and log. Perfect. The next thing I'm going to do is I will draw the VPN, right? So I will go to the VPN here, and I will try to create a new VPN. It should give me 2 options. What kind of VPN do I want to actually create? I'm not sure why it is not giving me that option. I'll cancel it again. I'll go here in my internet. I'll see. Okay, here it is. So what kind of community do I want to create? I want to create a meshed one, right? Because star is related to. So I'll show you the difference basically between both. Now we see the star, what happens is you have gateways, participating gateways. That means there is nobody central. Remember that. That says nobody central, right? So this is going to be site to site. 2 people are equal. Now, if I go to the I was in mesh. If I go to the star, you see that what will happen is central gateway and satellite gateways. So hub and spoke. This is your hub and spoke. But and here you have VPN routing and other options as well, right? How do you want the routing to work and all those things? But there you don't have those options because that is more of an equal thing, and they don't support IPsec basic thing, will not support the dynamic routing protocols. So we are going to create a VPN, a site-to-site VPN between two parties. And what are the participating gateways? I should have both my gateways here. Okay. It should actually show. Why is it not showing? I'll just cancel this because I have not saved my first configuration, so I will not be shown the gateways. Okay, set the policy on gateway 1. I'm going to keep this policy. Okay, what happened? Guys, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes.
Hello, guys, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
No sound. No sound. Hello, hello,
Hello.
hello. Guys, can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
I'm not able to hear anybody. I'm not sure if somebody was even speaking. So if somebody can speak for a minute, please.
Hello.
Oh, no sound coming. Okay, okay. I'm not able to hear anybody. So guys, any question you have, please type it in the chat window because I'm not sure what is the problem with my speaker at this time. Okay, so I am doing a site-to-site VPN, and we will save our configuration for both. So I'm going to save the second policy now. Second policy here for this guy, and it is going to be to CP2. I could have also done with a simple single policy, but generally in the companies you will have different policies for different gateways because their inside subnets are different, the outside subnets are different, so they will have different policies for that. Okay. Hello. Something wrong with my speakers. I'm not sure what has happened. Hello. Okay, both policies saved. So we'll go ahead with the next thing, which is our VPN creation. So we are going to create a community, and that is going to be a mesh-based community. And we are going to say it that it's a site-to-site VPN. Site-to-site VPN. What are the gateways participating in this? I'll just check. Gateways are not visible at this time. Oh, why is it not visible? Let me see if the gateways are actually what has happened on the gateways. Maybe we have not even enabled. You see that? It's not enabled. The IPSEC is not enabled on it. Similarly, for second gateway, I'll have to enable this. Correct? And I'm going to save it, save the policy. I'm not installing right now. I'm just saving it. I think I need to install it, but I'll still see if we can do without it. So I'll just go ahead with. Where is my option gone? Okay, I'll call it site to site. My gateways, I got both the gateways now. Correct? What is the encrypted tunnel? I want to log it. Yes. Encryption. What are the protocols you want to use for phase 1 and phase 2? So here is a list of protocols that you can use for phase 1 and phase 2. These are all preset. If you want to change anything, you can basically change it. Okay, both IPv6, IPsec for IPv6 and IPv4 for IPv4, it is supported. IKE set and IPsec both are there. In phase 1, as I said, in you have 6 messages. If you want to do aggressive, which is 3 messages, that's all theory. You don't really need it at this time. Okay, and it all happens in the background. You won't basically will have much idea about how the encryption and decryption is basically taking place. But we do have some videos on our channel, YouTube channel, where you can go and see that. So tunnel management, do you want to set permanent tunnels? Yes, I want to. What is the meaning? That whatever is the traffic between both, we should have the permanent tunnels between. Do you want to create routes for each other, which is called, sorry, route injection mechanism? What will happen here is, if I have 2 gateways and these are my private subnets, right? I need to have static route for this guy at this place, because that's how he is going to go to this guy, right? Over the internet. And similarly, I need to have this guy needs to have a route for this particular subnet passing through this particular gateway, so that the traffic can go to the private subnet. Now you remember that these are private subnet IPs. The internet doesn't know anything about this, right? The internet has no idea about all this. So how it is going to go? Because the traffic is actually going to get encrypted between these two. And you know, so do you have 2 methods? You can create static routes or you can create dynamic routes. In Cisco, it's called RRI, reverse route injection. Here it is called RIM, route injection mechanism. Okay. And do you want to create those tunnels for each host? Generally, that's a bad idea. Do you want to do for a subnet pair, or do you want to do between gateway to gateway? So if you, most of the time we prefer subnet to subnet. So ACLs will be created between subnet to subnet. In Cisco, if you have done any kind of lab on this, you will create interesting traffic, and you will have a subnet to subnet VPN kind of thing. But you can also have gateway to gateway. The problem with gateway to gateway is the whole traffic will be basically encrypted from one gateway to another. Although with ACL, you can also classify which traffic will basically go through it. So that is the thing. If you want to use any shared secret, you can choose to put that shared secret here. You can use any kind of password here. Allow uninspected traffic between these interfaces of community member. If you want the traffic to bypass VPN for some reason, you can actually do that. Okay. Most of the time it's a great idea because you do not want VPN traffic to go through firewall, right? Because it's your trusted, you don't need any stateful inspection for this traffic, because from other side, the people who are coming are already passing through one firewall, right? So you don't really want because these are your trusted people, you don't want them to pass through the firewall. So you can choose this, and these are the timeout values. I told you the timeouts are important, and these are generally fixed. But if you want to change it, make sure on both sides you have exactly same timeout values. Okay. So in checkpoint, the VPN is basically done on the community, and there are two kind of communities you have: the intranet community and the remote access community. Within intranet community, you have two kind of VPNs, right? Star and mesh. And in remote access, you have three kind of VPNs: SSL with network extender, and IPSEC VPN, right? The client could be even more. The client is in Android itself, there are 3 to 4 clients, right? But VPN type and client types are two different things. So you have to know the difference. So my site-to-site VPN is ready. How do I make them work? How do I make these people talk to each other? We will see that. I'm going to put an ACL first, right? I'm first going to put an ACL on the standard one. There is a policy here. Source is going to be, I have to define private subnet. So I have to create that because that is not there. I'll not do host, I'm going to do network here. So private network of gateway 1 is 10.1.1.0/24.255. This is site A private, correct? So this is site A private. More than one network has same IP address 10.1.1.0. I think we actually, because this Smart console is exactly the same, so I think I created some object in the previous. Yeah, inside subnet. This is I did. Oh, there is a background in the noise. Guys, somebody's mic might be open. Yeah, I think it's. Guys, is it fine? Is there still some sound? Please keep yourself mute. I don't have speaker working today, so I'm not able to hear anything. Okay, so inside subnet is there. I'm just going to put it like inside subnet one sub is already created. So 10.1.1. is there. So this is the subnet I already have. My destination is the other side, 10.1.1.2. So this I'm going to create an object for it. Remote site. I'm going to say remote site. Remote site B. Okay. 10.1.2.0/24. 255.255.255. Sorry, .0. I'll see subnet. Okay, remote site. No netting is required. VPN. I'm going to select the VPN. So specific community. My community is site to site. It is happening between these two. What kind of traffic? This is the subnet that's going to pass through it. And fine. Now I'll go to the second guy. Okay. And second guy, his policy, source and destination are going to change. correct? So source is going to be remote site and destination is going to be the inside, correct? Source and destination has changed, and I'm going to put site to site VPN here, and I'm going to say install the policy. Let me put this policy like that. Policy, install the policy. The target for this policy is CP12, and for this policy the target should be always CP11, correct? Now I'll install it. Oh, still asking me the same thing. So one by one we have to do it. Policy installation failed. Cannot appear in the VPN column of any rule when the check box on the community. This cannot appear in the VPN column of any rule when the checkbox all encrypted traffic is checked except all encrypted traffic is checked. Okay. So we'll go here to see the properties of this. So this means basically I'm telling that the rule applies to for all internally managed community members. So if I say all, I cannot have ACL basically defined for that. So that's correct. Either I say all or I define certain fixed traffic. I'll save it again. Okay, CP1 is installed. Second policy. New policy on gateway number 2 is gateway number 2. Install. Okay, and now the next step we have to do is so what we did is we created the community, right? And we created this security policy. Two things we did. Let me put it into the step-by-step process also, right? We created a VPN community, step number 1. In that we created a site to site. The second thing we did is we created a security policy which has subnets. Subnets defined. The third thing is to check the domain name basically. Now this is going to be very interesting and tricky. So I'll go to the gateway here. Go to network management. Okay. Go to VPN domain and define the private subnet of your gateway. Okay. For CP1, the private subnet is this guy. Right. So say OK. And for CP2, it is going to be the remote subnet. So go to this guy again, VPN domain for this guy, CP remote site, right? So remote site. This is my private subnet for CP2. Say OK. I have to do it on both again. So I'll save the first policy standard on CP1. Done. Now I do second policy on CP2. So two different site gateways. It's much easier when you do it together in a single rule, but that's not how industry implements. You generally have two gateways with two different policies because their private subnets are different. The server behind both the gateways are different. So it's always a good idea to use two different policies. Okay, so this is also good now. We should be able to do our testing now. So I'll go to vSphere. I'm going to put one of the testing machine. Okay, one of the testing machine here as one, and the other one as the different one, basically. If we can also do this. Ten four. Code 200. One 172.16.2.200. That's our checkpoint. It should basically work. Not sure why it's not working. Okay, because we have not selected from our, these are new gateways. I have not selected that implied rules in that, right? So I'll go to the implied rules. I'll go to implied rules, configuration. I will start accepting. It should be there. Allow. Yeah, it is there. Accept ICMP also. Implied rules. Sorry. Okay, implied rules were same for both. So that's fine. No, it's the policy, standard policy. I have to go. Action, implied rules, configuration, accept. Okay, this is also done. I'm going to create one more rule so that before this rule, or maybe after this rule, I'll say that allow services to be SSH. And for testing, I don't think so I require anything else. Similarly for this, I'm going to accept SSH. I just want to SSH to these gateways so that through CLI we can actually reconfirm few of the changes. So let's save the policy. Okay, second policy. Okay, so simultaneously is not allowed. Okay. Right, because this was only allowing the private subnet site-to-site VPN. We did not allow any other traffic. So we need at least SSH to do to the gateways. That has to be allowed. You see that? It came up. Okay. So VPN list all IK. So you see that VPN is already established, right, between both the vendors. We can see that the VPN is already there. Let's see number 2. IPSEC phase 2 policies are also established. You see that security associations are established. All we require is to have some traffic from the behind to pass through. Simple story. So even if I give to my machine something, although I'm going to use testing machine for this, so I'll just do one. Sorry, VPN util option number 1, phase 1. So IK phase 1 parameters are all set. Number 2, press enter to continue. Number 3, I'm not doing that. So tunnel is established. All we require is the background this thing. We can also check on the tunnel by going through here the logging if some kind of traffic is, because no traffic is initiated by us except the tunnel initiation, right? So encryption decryption is not happening, but the tunnel is formed. We can see the rule here, tunnel is formed because of the rule. So let's go to these testing machines. Okay, and CMD IP config. 10.10.100, that's the IP. So we have to change it, and that is going to be a task for us because 10.4.12.5. Let me see if I can do RDP to this. 10.4.12.5. 10.4.12.5. I'm not able to do RDP to this. 10.10.1.100. Ten, 100, 255. 10, 1, 2 dot, sorry, 12. There you go. 12. Okay. RDP is not working. It should be working. There's nothing complex that we have done. Let's ping 10, 1, 100, which is its own IP. It's pinging. Can it ping me? Okay. 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 So 10.2.1 dot, let's say 12 with 13. That's my machine. 10 to 1 202. That's our gateway. 1 202. So 202. Okay. 10 to 1 13. Quite strange. Ping 10 4 12. Sorry, 10 to 1 102. 102. It's not able to ping the checkpoint gateway, which it should be able to do fine. And can it ping itself? 10 to 112. One of the gateway, I am sure the ICMP is, I am just going to allow ICMP here so that we don't wait for the other thing, you know. So ICMP request I'm allowing, and the second policy also I'm going to allow, because this can really create a problem for us. So ICMP request. Okay, install the policy. Okay, first policy is fine. Second policy. Okay, the second policy is also done. Now let's see if we can ping this guy here. Yes, okay. Ten to 1202. 10.2.1.202. I think that is correct gateway. Okay, the topology is still not defined. So this is not set to the outside subnet. So that is the reason it's creating the problem. This is outside, external. This is not external. This is management interface. This is an internal interface defined by network address. Correct. Okay. This is also private, so that's fine. Second gateway. Okay, second gateway is, I think it was second only. Correct. So here also there is a problem. This is going to be internal, defined by subnet. Okay. This is going to be external. This is going to be external. Okay. Ten to 1.1.0.2. Ah, that's the thing. It's not 10.2, it's 10.1. 10.1.2. Okay. Ten one 2.0 255.255.0 1 2 2 202. So before that, we'll make it 13. Yeah. So it found the gateway, it seems. 10.1.2.202. It can ping the gateway, so that's cool. Let's see if we have in our ACL if we have made any mistake. Remote site, what is the IP? 10.1.2. Perfect. So this side 10.1.1. Okay. I'm just going to do RDP 10.1.2.13. Okay, I can do that. Okay, so this is cool. I am able to RDP this one. I'm just going to cancel this one. Then I'll go to the second site, second testing machine, which should be in 10.1.1 subnet. So I'll just go to its console. IP config, and the IP here is 172. Okay. Ten dot one dot one dot 13. 10.1.1.200. This side is 200. Gateway doesn't matter. The DNS doesn't matter, so it's fine. Okay. It doesn't matter to us. All right. Ping 10.1.1.200. That's my gateway. I'm able to ping my gateway. Now, can I ping 10.1.2.13? Okay, I'm not able to ping this one, but we will see our logs here in the site-to-site VPN. I'll go back to this guy, this particular rule, to see what's going on. Or maybe this policy, site-to-site. Traffic is not hitting the gateway, or maybe I should just, wow, VPN is there, source is this, destination is this, installed in this. Is there any VPN? The VPN sign is not here, so VPN traffic is not hitting it. Maybe, you know what happens is, we'll try putting routes, because that's a best practice. It may be getting dropped because of routes, so I'll just create a route on both sides, on both gateways for each other. In Cisco, it's very important to do that, but the RRI works fine. Here, I don't remember if I've done RRI for both. Okay. Then HTTPS. HTTPS. HTTPS is not allowed in both policies, so I lost access to both gateways. Now it is fine. CP1 is done, CP11, and next thing, sorry, CP12. Okay. So I can access it now. My routes should be there because I have done the RRI, but it's not showing. So I don't want to actually take a risk. I'll use the best practice, which is to reach to the other side. So 10.1.2.0, 255.255.255.0. I will be going to that guy using external interface. ETH1 is my external interface. I'm going to use this interface. I'm on 200, right? So that's correct. Now I'll go to 202. 202. And I'll give a static route for this, the other side, which is 10.1.1.0. Okay, 255.255.255.0. This is again going to go through ETH1, that is the outside interface. Okay, save. Once this is done, we can go to the testing machines to see if our VPN will work. Okay, I can see it will change. I'll go to the policy site to site to see if encrypted traffic is even hitting it. Encrypted traffic is not even hitting it. So what I'm going to do is I'll actually use another best practice, which is this. Source and destination are going to be both inside and remote for both the parties. So source and destination in this policy also, and source and destination is going to be in remote side, and here also the source and destination, because I want all the traffic to be returning also to be encrypted. So sorry, inside and inside. So remote and inside. Submit. If you have done any kind of VPN before any other vendor, you will be basically able to easily grab it. I will also explain after this practical works what is how, you know, why we are doing all these things. One last testing I also want to do after this is the gateway to gateway pinging. I will also do that. Let's see if ten one 12 13 and 10 11 13. That's what is these two guys are. Ten one one 13. 10.11.13 has some issue. 2.13 okay, maybe I'm not on the same network, so because of that. Okay, so I'll try to ping my gateway. I can ping my gateway. After that, I'll try to go to this guy. So this is one of the RDP and it's not pinging. This is fine. IP config 10.11.13, 10.11 200. That is correct. Now, will this guy be ping? Okay, guys, there is a big mistake we have done. That shouldn't actually impact, but can impact. I don't have, because I installed today itself both the gateways, I don't have default gateway set for both the gateways. And my default gateway is wrongly set to something else. So I have to change this one. My default gateway is not this, my public IP, because I changed the subnet. 12 to 54 on both sides. So this is the, is that this one? Also, this is correct. This one. Is again wrong gateway set. Packet was not leaving it because the checkpoint gateway was changed. This is my outside ISP, you can call it. So let me go back to this guy to see if he helping now. 10.1.2.13. Okay. And here's the firewall. Domains are correctly set. There is no reason why. Let's see the domains. VPN domain is inside subnet for CP1, CP11. That is correct. Inside subnet. Okay, so 10.1.1.0.255. Okay, generally it's this CP12 domain. It is 10.1.2.0. That is 100% correct. Both gateways are good. Both the policies are now covering even the return traffic. VPN tunnel is established. I'll just do SSH again. Okay, that is outside IP, so zero two. Okay. One 172.16.2.200. Okay, both are working. Phase 1 is all up. Phase 2 is also working fine. It thing. Can I ping myself? I can ping myself. Can I ping gateway? I can ping gateway. Can I ping the other side? 202? No. Site to site, CP1, CP2, encryption, everything is good, tunnel management. One tunnel subnet per subnet pair, that is correct. Anything? No. Wire mode. It's all correct. Ping 10.4.12.02. That is my IP config. 10.1.2.202 is my gateway. So 10.1.2.202. I can go through it. Ping 11.13 to run continuous ping. Okay. Route one more time. I'm going to test if this is 200 and he is going to 10.1.200. Instead of interface, only change I'm going to do here is instead of interface, I'm going to put IP. 10.4.12.250 202. Similarly, 10.4.12.200. Okay. Source is any destination, any tracking is not happening. Okay. I think this rule has to be on the top. I'm going to put it like this. Okay. Install the policy. Now it came. Now it came basically. I think that all the traffic that I was ICMP and everything I was doing was actually going through that. So VPN has to be before anything else. CP1 is done. CP2 now. Okay. Okay, standard policy, I forgot to do it. Okay. One 13. Ten one one 200 is my gateway, and 200 is my gateway. 13. Okay, so here it is, guys. This is the problem. We have to choose this option all the time. Select address from the topology table, because right now we have not selected, or we can basically choose this option, calculate IP based on the network topology. So this is the most critical option that we have, because it doesn't know what is your outside IP, what is your inside IP, what kind of topology you have. So CP1 11 is done. CP12 set VPN. calculate IP based on network topology. Okay, install the policy. I think it should be, once it is saved, it should be pinging. VPN tunnels are up. The traffic is not able to pass through because VPN doesn't know what is your outside IP because we have not defined. So there is an option that whatever is defined in the topology there, just trust that and just do it. Or there is a option which you have, which you can change in this particular portion. So this is done, CP12. Okay, and I'm going to ping again. 10.11.13. Go to policy. Okay, the VPN is hitting. You can see that now that our VPN is basically, here it is, right? Unencrypted also, ICMP echo request is also coming up. So where is our RDP machine? This side I'm not able to ping. Let's see the other side. So here it is. Okay. Now this has to be a route issue because from VPN side, I can see that traffic is getting encrypted. Okay. And let's see if it is. Source is 10.11.13. Destination is 10.12.13. External echo request is being sent. Reply is not coming back. Okay. And similarly, no reply. So this is reply coming back. 10.1.12.13 is replying to this guy. He's sending request. He's sending request. Request is going. Both side request is going. Reply is not coming back. Okay. Interestingly, packet is. Let's see here if we see anything packet being dropped or something. No. So request is coming from both the sides. This is encrypted and this is decrypted. So reply is going back. Okay. 10.11.13 sent an ICMP request and he also should be actually reply because the packet is getting decrypted, so it should be actually reply rather than request. So let's site to site. Policy. New policy. Let's see what is happening here. Go to this guy. Here the source and this is opposite, same thing. they are not replying to each other. It could be because of maybe firewall on the machine. Is it because of that? I'm just going to disable the firewall on this machine for some time. Scanning is off. Detection is off. Okay, 10.11, 13 here. Okay. -T. Now 10.113 is constantly pinging this guy. I have put a constant ping, so we'll see what is, sorry, the reply of this guy. 10.11 is sending source is this. 10.11.13 is sending to 10.12.13. These were the request. So the request also is this. It should be reply. I'm not sure why it is again and again showing as a request, because of course it is not a request, it is a reply. These are packet getting encrypted, which means the incoming packet is coming from this, and this has to be basically a reply.
What about Windows firewall?
What
The
could
inbuilt, the
be?
inbuilt firewall on Windows?
Services any is accepted. Source is to this, and the coming back. Remote site to inside. Sorry, not to inside. Encryption is happening. Okay. Now let me put it as a inside subnet. And this as a remote. Inside a remote. Encryption and decryption is happening. I'm not sure why the machines are not showing that. Packet is getting encrypted, and the same packet reply is coming back from the other guy. So that is getting decrypted also. But I'm not sure why. The topology is not showing that kind of thing. I'll just go again to gateway. VPN domain, my side is this. I can also choose this option. And I'll go to CP2 VPN, choose all of these behind this. Calculate based on network topology is correct because our routing is correct. Community setting is not required. Also doesn't apply. Configuration doesn't seem to have any problem. Windows Firewall, I have disabled one side. If that was Windows Firewall issue, it can be, not sure. Let me try this. This is interesting. So I'm just going to try. Maybe that's an issue. So I'll just go ping 10.1.2.13. From my machine, I can ping. So that means Windows Firewall is not an issue. The other one, I don't have the subnet, so that's okay. So this side, Windows Firewall is okay. So at least from other side, we should be able to ping. It could be again routing because these kind of issues generally are routing related issues. Let's see what's going on here. Packet is getting decrypted. It is coming as encrypted, correct, and getting as source is replying back to destination. This is absolutely correct behavior. This is 100% correct behavior. I'm not sure what else to test. And if I can do a remote RDP to that guy, 10.1.1.13. Okay, guys. So basically, there is an ICMP issue, right? Somewhere in in the environment, there is an ICMP issue. If you see that from this machine, which is 10.1.2.13, I'm able to do RDP to 10.1.1.13. Okay, so this is working fine because from one site, I'm able to go to the other site. Now we should let's see. I'll go to the other machine also to change this guy's Windows settings. Or let's see. It could be both side Windows Firewall or something like that. Ten one one 12. I'll try to do RDP to him also. Ten one one 13. 1 1 13. Okay. CCIE Okay, CCI dash. See what are the CCI dash test 2. Okay. Ping 10, 1, 2, 13. I'm not able to ping, but very interesting thing is if I do RDP from both, then 1, 2, 13. I'm on 113. So this is working. So that means somewhere Windows firewall is creating some problem. Okay. So I'll do 10, 1, 1, 13. See that from my machine also the 13 one has some issue. Maybe it's Windows firewall, not so let's go to Windows firewall and I'm going to actually change it to change, turn off the Windows firewall, turn off the Windows firewall for the time being. Okay, and I'll see from my machine, can I ping this guy? No, I'm not able to ping. Can I ping myself? I can ping. Can I ping 13? I can't ping 13. Okay, but IP to IP communication is working. What could be there? Except ICMP is there in this particular policy. Except ICMP is also there in this policy. There is absolutely no reason why ICMP is not working. Let's do this. I'm going to put it into ICMP. Icon reply both. ICMP reply. Sorry, ICMP reply. Reply. I'm going to put it as a RDP also. We'll put our remote desktop also. Okay, and I'll go to second policy also to do the similar thing. That is CMP echo, request and reply. Remote desktop. Although it doesn't have any logic of what we are doing, because it's very clearly mentioned the traffic of ICMP is still passing through the gateway. So that means it's passing through the rule number 1 through the VPN. So it's very clearly visible to us that traffic is not going through second rule, because we are clicking on this rule and the logs belong to the rule number 1. But we'll just, to reconfirm the concept, we'll just try this again. Here, encryption and decryption, each packet source and destination being changed is perfectly telling us the VPN is absolutely correct. VPN from the very beginning was correct. Yes. And good thing is it's showing us decrypted packet, a reply back here. And you can see that when the RDP happened, it also shows us the RDP was successful and it went through the VPN here. Right? When we did RDP, it went through the VPN because this encryption and decryption went through the RDP. Okay, I'm just going to try again, same thing. Okay, it's pinging. So I'm sitting at 10.11.13 and it is pinging 10.12.13. Not sure what could be the reason for that. I'll do RDP again to the other side because RDP is also open. 10.12.13 and RDP is also working. If I go to, there are two RDPs I have. So this is one guy and this side is not working, it seems. 10.11.13, it's this guy is not able to go there because his Windows firewall. See, from that side, I opened the Windows firewall of this guy, correct? Just now. But his Windows firewall, I did not open. I have not stopped his Windows firewall. So I'll go here. Maybe it was Windows firewall because we did not do both side testing. So it could be. I'm just going to disable this side also. And then we see from other side, this side, if we can ping now if we can. So it was Windows firewall, guys. See where the issue we found. Right, so this is 10.1.1.10.1.2.13 machine. I am pinging 10.1.1.13. So it was both Windows firewall issue, but the confirmation that we can see always is that if from firewall perspective my traffic is passing or not passing. From my firewall perspective, traffic was coming and going back both. So firewall was allowing the traffic that shows in encryption and decryption. Now, if we remove all this, it should still work because we basically have been able to figure out the issue. So let's delete all these services and keep it as service any. Anyways, RDP was showing us very clearly that if RDP works, there is generally no issue. There has to be some local issue to the machine, because if IP to IP RDP is working, ICMP, it's very clear that ICMP has some problem. CP, okay, is it now? Have I saved both side policies? What is the last one I saved? CP11, I'm going to save CP12. Okay, we go to both the testing machine again. It's still pinging. I'll ping it, still pinging, and I go to other side. This should also ping it. So I'm sitting at 10.1.1.13 and I'm pinging 10.1.2.13, right? It can ping, so it can go to the other side of the subnet. Similarly, if I go to the second testing machine here, it is able to go through. Okay, guys, just to revise your concept, there are a couple of steps that we need to take about it. So here were the steps. The first thing is you have to configure VPN community, right? It is star or mesh. Basically, what we have done is mesh. Star is basically is a CCSE kind of topic where you have to go to create your tunnel interfaces. I'll just show you how to do that. But it's a very lengthy process of creating route-based VPN, and that's the reason they put that into CCSE kind of syllabus. So you have to go to interfaces, and there are VPN tunnel routing interfaces. Like you do, if you have done DMVPN kind of thing, you can also do tunnel interfaces, which has route-based interfaces. Okay, and then the whole process inside it's quite different. So that's a complete different topic altogether. But coming back to this VPN, here's a notepad. So the domain name has to be there. Domain name is basically set of subnets to encrypt. You can choose your domain name, or you can choose all private subnets to be encrypted. I'll just show you here. At the end, when we were troubleshooting, I also opted for it. But if I go now, because we know the problem, it was working with that also, because ICMP Equan, this was still coming. So here it is. Generally here on CP1, I should be choosing my inside subnet. Okay. Or you can choose all private subnets behind the topology. But in that case, the topology needs to be correct, which means which is going to be outside interface, which is going to be inside interface should be clearly mentioned. Because this setting relies on that. So if I just change it here to this, similarly to CP12, it should not make any difference to me now, because we know what was the issue there. So in this CP2, what is my private subnet? Remote site. Okay. So that is that is called your domain. You have to set your domain. Sorry, domain. You have to set your domain. In that you can put a subset or set of your subnets which you want to encrypt, right? Now this will work as, I'm not sure if you guys are aware of crypto map. It will work as crypto ACLs. It will work as crypto ACLs for you. Okay, in VPN community, what do? You define both gateways, and this will be where your IPSEC phase 1 and phase 2 policies are defined, including pre-shared key and everything else that you want to define is all here. Security policy is ACLs, access list, to permit and deny. Okay, so where were the ACLs? In both gateways. Take it like Delhi and Mumbai, the two gateways being managed from US or some other place in the world. So this gateway has its own private subnet, okay, and this gateway has its own private subnet. Behind that is 10.1.1.0 and the other side is 10.1.2.0. Okay, so they need policies which will permit, and you need to define that this traffic from site A to site B, or from both the sites, should go through VPN, should not go through internet, it should go through VPN. Okay, and the verification of that will be here. Further, you also have to go to the gateway, and this is very, very important. And the last step, perhaps, you have to go to IPSEC VPN, and here in that you have to always choose this: calculate IP based on network topology. Okay, what is the purpose of that? The purpose of that is basically that who is going to be my outside interface, because the VPN tunnel get established between outside to outside. So this is very important, that calculate based on IP topology, which means your topology again should be correct. If you want to have more control, you can choose your outside subnet from here also. Okay, so you can also choose to define what is your outside interface, which will be used for the VPN tunnel. If you have netting for your IP, you can also choose to have you can define the netting for your IP. Okay, if you have netting going on, make sure you basically do not net the traffic which is going through your VPN tunnel. First put your traffic which is not going through VPN, and then you can basically, or you can net yourself to yourself when you are going for certain particular host, right? Using manual net, you know that how to do that. Let me show you. If you have inside subnet here, okay, I'm going to create a manual rule. What is your source? Your source is inside subnet. Okay, what is your original destination? My original destination is going to be remote site. Okay, so what should be your translated source? I do not want to do any translation, so it's going to be inside subnet. And what is going to be translated? I don't want to translate my destination also, so that is going to be, so this is called no NAT or NAT 0. You are not netting neither source nor destination. Okay, you are not netting either the source or the destination. You are not netting any of these. So if you have internet going on in your company and other things you want to avoid netting, you can basically use this method. You have to do it at both the gateways, in this policy and this policy also. Okay, in that you are telling that when this is the source and this is the destination, the source will be netted to this IP and the destination is going to be netted to this IP, which means we are going to get netted to ourselves, which means no netting will happen. Okay, so the other thing was VPN settings for topology. Two settings are there in this, right? We have seen that one was in the topology, where you tell what is the private subnet you want to secure. You can control with one specific subnet, and for topology, and the other is VPN setting for declaring outside IP. Generally, it's called tunnel IP. Tunnel IP. So these 5 settings are basically what you have to do to achieve your VPN. It's basically very simple, not a complex thing. Okay, it's a very simple kind of thing. The only challenge we had is today we had both the machines, firewall was on, so we were getting the correct reply, right? But we were not able to see it because the machine was dropping it. Guys, that's all for today. Okay, tomorrow we are going to have clustering, and if clustering is done, we will also have IPS, which probably will be the last class for this, and then I have another class starting on next week, so I'll allow you guys to sit in that also. Okay, so tomorrow I'm going to see you guys at the same time. See you tomorrow.